God, I look disheveled.
Well, I've never even heard that word before.
Unkempt. That's the one thing I took away from like English in high school was the vocabulary.
Yeah.
That's it. I didn't read any of the books. I just took away the vocabulary.
Disheveled. Disheveled? Disheveled? How did you say that?
Disheveled.
Disheveled.
Disheveled. Like
Shoveled.
Wow.
it's like shovel. It's like this. It's like shoveled with an e instead of an n.
Okay. Let's go.
Disheveled. It's like it means like unkempt, and messed up. Yeah, my hair is looking kind of. I need to get it cut. Like I got all these little like Goldilocks curls going in the back here.
I hate the back of my head. It's always messed up. I just wish I had straight hair, honestly. It's
My
always
hair
curly all the
decides to
time.
be curly sometimes. Sometimes it's straight. Sometimes it's wavy. It's the humidity.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine is usually straight, but it's like because I wear hats all the time, it just ends up getting like curly in the back, and it looks
Yeah.
stupid like this.
Yeah.
All right, are we going, Eswyn?
Yeah, I'm already recording.
All right, rad.
Oh, let's go.
Okay, sick. We can include that if we want. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the It's Pizza Time podcast. I'm your host, iNDiGO. Today, I'm joined by my co-host, Eswyn,
Hello.
and our very special guest, SKYGATE.
What's good?
All right, nice. So, I guess for everybody who doesn't know who or what SKYGATE is, would you like to give like a little bit of a brief rundown?
Yeah. I'm a producer. I like making songs. That's kind of what I do. Specifically EDM songs.
That's rad. That's rad. That's
Yeah.
why we're here.
Yeah.
Indeed. All right. Good start to one of our first episodes back.
Yeah. How long? Did you guys take like a really long break or
It's
something?
been like 5 months.
Oh,
we
shoot.
did. We were gonna take a break for like 2 weeks, and then it was
yeah.
like 5 months.
Dang.
Welcome back, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome back. I mean, this is like our second episode back, I think. But yeah, so it's been a minute. So thank you for joining us, despite us having like not done anything for a while.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. This is
Um,
fun. This is cool.
Yeah, I'm glad you think that so far, and not just being like, oh these why are these weird people talking to me?
No.
Okay. I guess I'll go right into the precursor question, being the thing we ask everybody on this show.
Yeah.
What is your favorite kind of pizza?
Ooh. My favorite kind of pizza. I would say it's a tie between like whatever like meat lovers you can get, like just as much meat on it as possible, tied with ham and pineapple, which I know people don't like Hawaiian, but that's my thing. I think it's really good.
I mean, some people don't like it, but like, I mean, I'm personally not a fan of it. But I'm like, if you enjoy it, I can't really get too mad at you, right? Because there are
Right.
probably like things that I enjoy that like are really fucking weird.
Yeah, right.
I learned like the other day that I eat like my family's always like is very like Northern European, like Swedish. So we eat like salmon with like mashed potatoes and mayonnaise, and
Yeah.
people are like, that's the weirdest shit I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's just normal for me. I just I didn't think it
Right,
was that
right.
weird.
Yeah,
So,
that's
like-
one thing I don't get. People get really angry about pineapple on pizza. Like,
I don't understand why. Like, I mean,
Yeah,
I
I don't get it
understand
either.
why, but I don't understand why it gets so heated sometimes. Like,
Yeah,
I
dude.
like pineapple on pizza. It's pretty decent. It depends on how it's done, though. If there's too much cheese, then it's not good. I feel like pineapple Hawaiian pizza is better if it has less cheese. Like if you have the same amount as other pizzas, it just the balance isn't right. But like less
Like
cheese,
Domino's shit.
It. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I've had some
I
pretty damn
100%
good
agree.
Hawaiian pizza.
I feel like when I think about pizza that I would think is gross, like with like anchovies on it or something, and like yeah, it sounds like kind of nasty to me, and I don't like it. But I'm not like militant about it. Like I'm not gonna go online and just
Militant.
like and just like post about how bad anchovies are in pizza. But
I'm not gonna write like a 8 paragraph Reddit post on
hmm
why you shouldn't have anchovies on your pizza.
people be online like if you like pineapple on your pizza, you need to go to hell.
It's
It's
like
weird.
I don't get that. It's like so what? You probably like something like equally polarizing, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Well, actually, it's like I don't know if there's any like other food tobacco that's like as polarizing as pineapple on pizza. It's like it's so it's like
For
there's nobody
real.
that can either like take it or leave it, you know?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
they don't like or there's nobody that's like publicly like, you know, saying that they can take it or leave it. There's a lot of
Mm-hmm.
like anger with it, which is super interesting,
I think
you
it's very
know?
interesting too. Yeah. Like what? Why?
It's like yeah, I know. It's like why out of all things this was the thing they get mad about,
mm-hmm. Yeah.
right? Is it like because it's like I would like initially think that it's like something because it's um you know it's like I guess it's another because it's like Hawaiian, right? So I
Mm-hmm.
guess it's because like it's another like it's a different version of like the like this the standard pizza with
Right.
like a cultural difference thing. But then you
Mm-hmm.
have like but then there's like you know American pizza is already a variation on like the standard Italian, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So like I can't
I
really
think it has to.
imagine
I think it has to do with the sweetness. It's probably like the concept of having sweet
a
fruit.
fruit
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah,
like sweet
tomato
and savory.
sauce has some sweetness to it, but like it's a different kind of sweetness than
It's
like
not like
fruit.
fruity
Yeah.
sweetness.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah, you don't.
citrus
Yeah, it's
type.
like you call like I mean, scientifically, tomatoes a fruit, but like nobody really cares.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? It's
Like,
like
yeah.
it's the thing. It's like I'm a fruit, and everybody's like, sure. You know what? Fine.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I can't really think of any other food that like you put some kind of like sweet fruit on it. That's like you know like a typical savory dish.
Yeah. Oh.
Isn't there that thing that they put? I'm trying to remember what it is, but isn't there like something sandwich that has bananas on it, and it's like not a dessert?
Hmm.
There might be, but I don't think it's like as widely known.
Yeah, no, you know, the
Yeah, I don't think I've
pizza.
heard of that.
Mm,
Like pizza is,
yeah.
you know, pizza. We have a podcast named after it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
People put
Uh,
like weird stuff on burgers though.
That is
People
I wonder if
true.
do, but
there's.
like I have never seen anything like fruit related on a burger though.
Yeah, that's true.
It's always been like different food groups that's like it does end up like working well together. Like I love like
Right.
seeing like eggs and shit. And I've
Dude.
occasionally like I've seen one place put like avocados on it, but it's
Oh
like,
my
you
gosh,
know, it
avocado on
was
burgers is so good.
Yeah,
yeah,
avocados
and
and
like
I
burgers.
there's
love
I
that.
see it all the time.
yeah.
Mm.
But
Because
that's like
avocado and like bacon goes pretty well together.
yeah,
Bacon.
but that's like not a it's not, again not a sweet fruit because it's like, you know,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
guacamole's a fucking thing and like, you know, that's not at all shocking. I'm gonna go
Right.
close my window real quick, but I can hear you, so just keep going.
Just keep.
Sounds good. Yeah.
That's a nice window.
Interesting foods. I'm getting hungry now that we're talking about food so much.
What are you drinking there?
This is sparkling water. It's like it's really plain though. Perrier or something. I don't know
fucking
however you say it.
Perrier, dude.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the shit.
Mhm.
I used to drink those all the time because my dad was like he would never like buy me soda.
Mhm.
So like, but that was the thing that he had.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
had it like initially for himself, but then I was like, I would go through all of them. And
Right.
it's like, you know, I don't really have anything. I don't really have anything better.
Right,
So
right. That's how I feel about it too. I like low key drink way too much sugary drinks, so sometimes even like I'll get sparkling water or I'll just go and like try some like overpriced water and just like try to enjoy it. Like
oh
Fiji
yeah.
water or something like that.
See, like, I don't get like overpricing water too much. Like, I can kind of understand if there's like a bit of like I mean, there's got to be like some like different qualities to it for like the reasoning, right? But like,
Right.
where is the point? Um, I guess like how where like where do you where like how I guess how can you scale how expensive you make it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it would just I don't really know anything about that, but I mean, I guess it just depends on like how they make it or where it comes from. That's the only thing I can imagine in like changing the price of water.
Yeah, it's like it probably is something along the lines of that. But then it's like what I wonder what the most expensive water is. You know?
Ooh,
I feel
that's a
like
good
it's
question.
probably, I don't know. It would probably be like some historically significant water, like not like, or do you mean
Like
mass
the
Some
produced?
like
fountain
holy water
type
or
shit.
something.
Yeah, like some like water from some holy location or something like that. But
It's
like,
the fountain of youth, like the actual one.
yeah, no. But like,
They
what
just
about like
somehow, yeah.
purchasable, mass produced water? What would be the most expensive?
That's that's a good question. I'd say it's probably like Voss or something
Oh
like
yeah,
that, but that's not even
Mhm.
because of like it's probably more so because of like the glass bottle
yeah. It
that
comes in
makes
a
it
Yeah.
glass
expensive, not so
bottle.
much the water. Um,
Interesting.
it's a really I feel like the most expensive like water would be something that isn't like that isn't even like bottled. Like I know
Yeah,
that like
Mm.
there's like I went to like Mexico like a long time ago and there were like they had like these like springs that were like completely untouched by man. And it was
Mhm.
like some of the
Wow.
clearest water in the world. It's like there's like nothing in it. And it's so it's really weird because like you were allowed to like, after like, showering off and everything, you were allowed to like actually like swim through like this cave off the
Mhm.
water. And you can like look down, you could see everything because there was no like and there was nothing in the water. It was like
yeah.
straight clear shot down.
Jeez.
It
I
was
think I've seen pictures of
terrifying.
some caves like that.
That's pretty
It's
dope
so
sounding.
it's really cool, but it's like really scary because usually like when you're in the ocean, like if you look down, it's like all murky and shit, and you don't really think about like where how far below
Mhm.
you the seafloor is, and now you're looking down. It's like looking through glass.
That's crazy.
It's really weird.
Speaking of water,
All
I
right,
had
I
something
want
I
to I
was
want
gonna
to know where
say and
this
I
goes.
forgot. I remembered. I remembered. I just
Okay.
remembered. So,
Mhm.
You know that's better than
like,
I. That's better than
it
me.
was making me think. Different places have like different water, like tap water quality, right? Like some places you
Yeah,
can't
that's
even
true.
drink the tap water.
Yeah, like Flint.
Yes.
I'm from Michigan, so
Oh, how close are you to that? To
Flint is like a
Flint.
few hours away from me or something like that. Maybe less. I don't remember. My tap
All
water's
right.
fine though. I can drink it.
Yeah. So like
Well, that's good.
when I've
Mhm.
traveled, even though it's it's water, there's stuff in it, right? I've like noticed the difference between water, and I've like had some really good
Mhm.
water in other places or other countries or
Mm.
whatever. Where's the best water, like best tap water you've had
Ooh.
from? Also, on
I'd
top of
say it's
that, like a lot of European restaurants have the like instead of bringing you out like a pitcher of water, they bring you out like a bottle of water that they've like
oh yeah, with
distilled
the
or whatever.
fucking cork and shit.
Yeah.
Like
Mm.
it's like yep, that's that's how it's like a not like an American place.
Yeah.
So they got the swagged out water.
Yeah, I'd say like the probably like cleanest tap water is like probably farther north. I would say it's like the closer to the equator you get, it's probably not as good.
That sounds intelligent.
I'm trying to think where the
I
best water I've had
I just feel
was.
like I could be wrong though. I could be very wrong about that. But I don't know. Like whenever I
Uh,
think like clean water, I'm thinking like forests and shit, and that's
mhm.
like more north.
I mean, I was in
Yeah,
Toronto once a
like a
few years
spring.
ago. Like a spring, yes.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know, like spring water, isn't that like cleaner than anywhere else? Or it's like pure or whatever?
Yeah. I've actually drank spring water before,
Mhm.
and like I was at a spring and it like had a water bottle in it. I just took a sip of it.
Right.
It was it tasted less like water than tap water. because water doesn't taste like much, but tap water has like so much, like they have
It's got a bunch of junk in it.
It's got chemicals in it.
Yeah, it's got so much shit or it's just got a lot of like sediment and whatever that just kind of
lime
flows
scale
through
as well.
Yeah,
like
whatever,
the lime scale
fucking,
builds up on the dishes and the
like
bathtub
lead
and
deposits.
Oh God, I hope there's not lead.
Gosh.
But yeah, it was just so weird to have water that didn't taste like water, even though water doesn't really taste like anything except Dasani.
Right.
Dasani tastes like something, and I hate it.
Exactly. I cannot drink Dasani.
Dasani and like Aquafina, they got like an aftertaste, which is like not. Water is not supposed to have an aftertaste, let alone
Absolutely
a taste.
Not. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Here, I know people who like that stuff. They're like, "Oh yeah, it tastes so good." I'm like, "No."
It's literally like I feel like Dasani is like if you took Coke, but you took all of the syrup and all of the carbonation and everything like out of it, and then just that's what's left.
Yeah.
Isn't Dasani owned by?
Yeah, it is.
Company?
That's what I'm thinking. It's like, that could be like it's just the byproduct.
Maybe
just
they
expired
make Coke
Coke
with
like
Dasani. We gotta research this. We might be onto something.
Man, it got dark in Eswyn's room fast.
Bro, it's getting dark in my room.
Yeah, it's
my lighting
it's sunset
weird.
time. I mean,
it's sunset
I'm Chicago,
time. It looks like
so.
it looks like it's midnight.
Where is this? I mean, I also have my blinds closed, but
oh yeah, I would explain it. All right, I guess like we can talk a little bit about music, since that's like kind of what this podcast is about. I guess like how'd you get involved in that at first?
Like into producing?
I guess so. Yeah, it was like just music in general. Like where'd you initially like fall in love with it?
Well, the first time I ever heard like EDM or anything like that was like back when I was in like the 6th grade or whatever. It would have been like Skrillex or like deadmau5, when that was the thing. And I thought it was really cool because I'd never heard anything like it before. I thought like the mouse head thing was cool. I was like a little kid. I thought that was dope. So I like would get on my dad's iPad and I downloaded GarageBand, and that's how I started. I was just like a little kid and I was just making lots of like beats on GarageBand and stuff. And as I kept going, like I would upgrade to a computer eventually. I started using GarageBand on there, and then I started using Logic, and then now I use Ableton. But yeah, that's how I got started, was just like really thinking that a lot of old deadmau5 songs were really cool. I kind of wanted to do what he was doing. I thought it was dope that he was just standing on stage, like kind of just pressing buttons, and everything looked cool and everyone's dancing. Like I just thought it was cool.
Yeah. And then you like came to the realization that that's a lot more than just pressing like a play button.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That frustrates me when I like tell people I write electronic music and they're just like, you mean you just like press a button and the computer makes the music for you? I'm like, no. It's like, that's after I've composed it, designed all the sounds. Like,
you've got sound design, mixing, all that stuff. Like there's all these individual areas of music that you have to like master before they can all come together, and then you have like something that's really good.
It's
and
like
it can be super frustrating.
An individual producer does like everything that a band does by themselves. It's like we're not just
I'd say like
putting everything
they
together.
Go further.
There's more work to it.
Yeah.
I mean, a band can't do anything unless they have an engineer doing all that stuff in the background.
I mean, like we're the bands and the engineer.
Right.
I had like a conversation with a friend of mine, like this was like years ago, but we were like arguing, like just like playfully arguing, because he's a guitar player, and he was like saying like the guitar is like the most infinite instrument, like you could do anything with it. And I'm like, well, electronic music is even more infinite, as it could take everything from the guitar as well as every other instrument. And he was like, no, that's not possible. I'm like,
yeah,
well,
it is.
But it's like, I feel like bands are very limited in the sense that it's like it's only what each instrument can do. But like electronic, you have like not only all of those instruments, but you can make sounds that like no other instrument can ever like possibly reproduce.
Yeah.
like I mean that's what like dubstep is. It's like
Right.
just weird
You
sound
can
design noises.
you can even do that like you just said, like evolving off of a real instrument. Like, you can put effects that on a guitar that just like make it sound different. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you guys have listened to Good Faith, Madion, right?
Mm-hmm.
Borealis, that
Great
main
album.
lead line, that main lead
Oof,
line in
so good.
Borealis. I'm pretty sure I heard that that is a guitar. That is someone playing a guitar, and then he's got like a bunch of weird effects on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I would
Yeah.
not say that that is a guitar, but it's a
It's
guitar.
like it's like I mean, it's like buying like guitar pedals, but you don't like have to pay a lot of money per pedal. You know what I mean? It's like there's a lot of like free plugins which you can get, but you can't get like a free pedal anywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like
And just pull up to the store and
yeah,
like, what you got for free?
yeah. It's like it's like I just want the guitar pedal that turns my guitar into Hatsune Miku voice. That's all I want.
Isn't that a thing?
I think that's a real thing.
That-
Yeah,
I
like
was
there's
like,
like
that sounds like, I'm pretty sure that's a thing.
you can like
It-
play your
it-
guitar and it makes a synthesized like voice or whatever. I think so.
It's like it's really weird. It's super uncomfortable. It's because it's
Interesting.
like you can't really control what it's like saying, so it's just like these really like kind of distorted like elongated vowels.
Oof.
So it's like it's just I implore like anybody listening, I implore you to look it up. It's funny as it's the funniest shit.
That sounds very interesting. I'll have to look that up.
It is great. I want to see somebody use it like practically because I don't know of anybody who has. So
Maybe they just used it so well that you didn't know they used it.
Ooh.
that's
Whoa.
a fair point. That is true. That is something that could happen.
Oh man.
Yeah. I mean, on the subject of music, I see that you got a music stand there behind you.
Oh yes.
I'm assuming you play an instrument of some kind then.
Yeah. I play the piano and I play the guitar. I'm not as good. I'm not very good at either of them. I went to. I did one semester of music classes at my community college before I just decided to stop doing it. So my folder over there has some of the songs that I was supposed to be learning.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I feel like music, especially like the whole theory and stuff like that, is it's very like I guess difficult to learn. Like I guess the older you get,
Hmm.
I was lucky to like to learn it like as a kid. So it's like it was a lot easier now to like grasp the fact like oh I fucking rhythms and chords and shit,
Hmm.
and it's just like yeah. But a lot of people are like really intimidated by the fact that it's like it's like an entire new language to learn,
Yeah, it
and you're like
is.
going into it like older,
Hmm.
which
Yeah,
is
I think that learning music in school can be really beneficial, especially if you're younger, because it's easier when you're younger.
oh yeah.
But like I dropped out because I was like I already know how to do this. I don't really need to like learn how to like write like a chorus or whatever for like an orchestra or anything like that. I'm like I already know what I want to do. I can just kind of go online and learn this for free if I want to.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like almost a waste of time for me personally in my circumstances.
Yeah, it's like because I mean, I'm assuming it's also part of the fact that like when you're taking music courses in college now, it's like there aren't really a lot of things that like help for electronic like production type stuff. It's a lot
Right.
more just for basic like writing.
Writing,
Uh,
playing instruments, stuff like that.
yeah, for like how to like do the notation and shit like that.
Mhm.
Um, and like I guess just theory, with or unless you're playing like a classical instrument or in vocals or something like that. But there's
Yeah.
not much for it. When I went to community college for like the year I did,
Mhm.
like they didn't have anything of the sort. And I
Right.
was like, well, that sucks. I'll play guitar for a semester, and which didn't work out well since my fingers keep like locking every time I try to do a chord
Yeah,
and
yeah.
play the guitar. Which sucks for me, but like my teacher felt bad for me, so he gave me a B
Mhm.
anyway.
Oh, that's one thing. I
So
realized this is like super random, but I remember in my piano class, like I didn't realize how shaky my hands are until I had to take piano, and my teacher was like, "Yo, your fingers are like really jittery. Like, what's wrong with you?" It was hard. Playing the piano is hard, especially like once I realized you have to like actually use both hands and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like, oof. Like I'll
It's
just stick
like
to MIDI.
Yeah, like playing piano is like so. I mean, it's so hard to do like two
Effectively.
different times with your hands.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's like two
Yeah,
different
it's
rhythms
Oh,
with your
yeah,
hands is like the hardest shit.
And
It's like
yeah.
if the two rhythms are like somehow in sync with one another, it's like it's a lot easier. But if there's like differences that are very like frequent, it's
Mhm.
so difficult for me.
Yeah.
and then there's drums, where you're doing two hands and feet.
And your feet. That's crazy.
Fuck,
People
yeah, I-
play the
Like
drums.
it's in my head, I was like, oh, this is so easy, and I sat down at a drum set, and I was like the kick. I like as soon as I started doing the kick, I was like hitting the snare. I was like, yeah, no, I can't do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Like,
I've
it looks
tried
kinda
piano.
easy.
I can't do the piano.
People make it look really easy, like especially drums. You're like, oh, it's just a beat. Like at least I don't have to know like music theory for this. You just play on time, and then you try to do it, and then you're like, you just get lost because you're trying to control all your different body parts at the same time. It's just rough.
Yeah, it's very much like I feel like there's probably some trick to it. Like you can't think of like every drum as like an individual drum. You have to think of it all as in like one go.
Yeah.
And then that's probably like what makes it a little bit simpler.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're thinking of it all as like one set instead of like three different things that you got to like do at the same time.
Yeah. Pretty smart.
Definitely, very interesting. Like, props to anybody who plays like musician or plays like instruments, like who does that really well. Like, that's really impressive.
Yeah. It makes me wish that I like learned how to play piano when I was younger because like sometimes I feel like I'm not held back by not knowing like perfect music theory and like knowing all the scales and stuff, but when I am like hanging out with people who know how to play the piano, or I'm like collabing with somebody and they just like, oh yeah, it's just this chord progression, and then they just play it, like that would save me hours of like trial and error. But I mean, sometimes I also feel like going back and trying to learn it now sometimes can be really difficult. So I'm like, whatever. I'll just write everything in C major and then pitch it up however I want.
Yeah, that seems that's a pretty good way to go about it.
Mm-hmm. People will get mad at me for saying that though.
I mean, if it sounds good, it works.
Yeah, it's true.
It's like at the end of the day, most people aren't gonna know how you wrote half of these things. It's like that sounds good, that sounds bad. Like, who cares?
That's what matters.
Unless you're like performing it, and then it's like, even then, who cares? It sounds good.
Yeah. Right.
All right. Well, Eswyn, I hope that you were recording the audio as well, because I just realized my microphone wasn't recording for like half of that. But whatever, we're fine. It wouldn't. It wasn't. But like, hey, you know what? It would not be this. It would not be this podcast if something bad didn't happen.
Yikes.
gotta love it. Everything is perfect.
I think it's the perfect time for me to step away for 1 second and turn on my lights.
Yeah.
It's just gonna be solid black for a few seconds.
Oh yeah, I'm
You're just
gonna fix
gonna
my lighting for a minute.
Disappear. Don't talk shit.
Just like move backwards.
I have the recording.
Just.
So is this gonna be a cut or what?
I mean, I don't know. Chances are we leave it because that's just usually how we do things.
Let's go.
We're just gonna leave it in. All right.
I'm gonna leave this in.
Yeah, we're gonna leave this in.
That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely. Yeah, we are only professional things here. All right.
There we go.
So I guess I'll. Oh my God, that light looks so ominous.
Oh,
that
yeah,
is
the room's looking kind of pretty right now.
That is.
Comes up from the bottom.
That's so scary. Like, what the hell?
I popped up from the bottom. Wait, why is the lighting so messed up now? Look at my face. It's just black.
That's what I was
I
like.
think you made it worse.
It's so
You can't even
strange.
see me now. No,
That's
but I
that's
literally just crawled. I literally just crawled under the camera and popped up.
that's spooky as hell. Why am I grabbing?
The lighting is horrible. Oh God. Do I have lights? I have lights up above me.
Interesting. All right. I mean,
Anyway,
it's fine. You know, it's just typical pizza time quota.
I'm gonna go turn off my lights.
We don't.
Yeah, lucky it did look better when the lights were off because at least you could see
Yeah,
his face.
yeah, we're leaving this in.
Let's go.
All right. Okay. Well, I guess I can
Amazing.
bring up the fact like, so your Discord profile picture is a score bunny, and you got a little score bunny there
Mm-hmm.
on your desk. And you got a
Yeah,
little Pikachu there too. I'm noticing now. I was like,
I do have a
I'm
little
assuming
Pikachu.
you're,
Yeah,
I'm assuming you're a Pokemon fan.
I do like Pokemon a lot. Yeah, I
That's
take a lot of inspiration from uh old Pokemon games like Gen 4 specifically.
it's like that's Diamond, Platinum, Pearl, right?
Yeah, Hard Gold,
Heck
Soul
yeah.
Silver are in there too. Yeah, that's my stuff right there.
Those are some bangers. I think those were like the
Mm-hmm.
first Pokemon games that I ever played as a kid. Like I
Mm-hmm.
finally like my mom got me a Nintendo DS and I was like and she gave me like Pokemon with it and I
Mm,
was like this is cool. Like
yeah, yeah. I had kind of hit like a bit of a roadblock trying to figure out what I wanted to do like musically after like kind of my Go Back in Time remix. So I kind of realized that I didn't really have like a sound yet. Like I had made two songs and they sounded like pretty good, but they didn't really seem unique yet. So I was trying to figure out like what's something really unique that I could do. And one of my friends showed me, shout outs Ari, aka Snowcloak. You're awesome. Uh,
mm.
she showed me like apparently I had no idea you could do this before, but there's these things called sound fonts. And so what it is, it's just directly like the same sounds that are in different games that people have ripped, and you can play them as MIDI instruments. And that changed everything for me. Like as soon as I figured out I could do that, like my music changed a lot. So all my music like going on that's coming out this year is all like directly Pokemon inspired pretty much. There's a bunch of Pokemon sounds in it too. It's pretty fun.
I mean that's rad. I'm definitely excited
Yeah.
to hear it. Fucking I'm just fucking Pokemon like as probably some of the most I would say like Pokemon is like one of the games with some of those like really identifiable like sound bites and shit like that,
Yeah, yeah.
which is I feel like most Nintendo games really are just like really good with that. Like, you know,
Nintendo
all of their
soundtracks are insane.
it's not even just their soundtracks, it's just like every like all of their effects too. It's like everything is like
The
super
atmosphere of
identifiable.
the games and stuff. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
it's like
real.
if I played you like any sound from like a Nintendo game, it could be like, oh, that's like a Mario warp pipe or some shit. Like you just know.
Yeah,
It's
you
just
know immediately what it is.
it's like
I think
yeah,
there's
got it.
a video that I watched about that, like the psychology of why certain like sounds have become just like so ingrained in our brain. Like I don't remember
Mm.
exactly what it was. I think it was like the science of a good jingle or good sound design or
Oh
something like
yeah.
that. It's like there's certain sounds like you hear two notes or something and you know that is the
Mm-hmm.
whatever jingle.
Yeah, it's like if you hear a G on a piano, you're just like, oh, that's that My Chemical Romance song that everybody like likes. You just hear that one note and you're like, ah, that's the one.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's coming.
That's awesome.
It's really interesting. Like, it's it's funny because like that song is like the only reason like I know exactly what a G sounds like at like any given
Oh
point.
yeah.
If I can think of it in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a G.
Mm-hmm.
Easy.
Yeah, you
I
like
don't
draw connections in your brain of like when you hear stuff. And once they're there, it's kind of hard to undo them.
Yeah.
I don't have perfect pitch, but I have songs and like I don't even know what their like notes are sometimes or what the
Mm-hmm.
key is, but I have songs that in my head I know exactly what the actual key is. And if
Yeah.
I like think of a musical idea, I'm just like, okay, it has the same beginning note as this song. And like one of those songs for me is Shelter, like Porter Robinson, Madeon. I know they're the notes. It's like in notebooks you can see it's like Shelter, second note from melody. It's like I'm like drawing arrow, like I write a melody and then I don't know the notes, so I just write like arrows pointing. This is this note from that song and this note from that song. It's a mess.
No, that's cool though.
It's really weird. Like I watched a video the other day from do you guys know who Adam Neely is?
Yes,
I think so. Yeah,
he's like
he's the guy that uses the lick for the transitions, right?
Yeah. He's like a jazz musician, I guess at heart. I guess is the simplest way to describe it. But he does like a lot of weird things, and he did like a talk on the differences between like perfect pitch, relative pitch, and quasi perfect pitch, and all that stuff. And it was like really interesting to see, like, I guess to like understand, how like perfect pitch and stuff like that works. Because it's like, as somebody who has like never really had it, like I have a decent relative pitch, but like I've never really had like any further beyond, and it's like I've always wondered like how is it even possible that like somebody can just do that.
It's insane.
And it was like really really interesting to like see like the differences. I also learned that perfect pitch is something that like you inevitably lose. Like,
wow, really? I didn't know that.
Really?
Apparently, it's like eyesight. I guess is the way. It's like a fucking. You end up like, so instead of like you just not being able to identify a note, you're identifying it wrong at like a certain age. So it's like seeing. Wow. It's like when you're born, you can like just see like I think the way he explains it is like the apple is red, but then just like. And then just over time, it starts like fading to like a blue. Like one day you just like wake up and the apple's blue now, but like it's red. It just looks blue now. So like, everybody knows that this note would be a B, but at this point like your I guess perfect pitch is like devolved to a point where like what you see this is like a C now, which is really interesting. I think it's like I want to know like why that happens. It's like just
when you compared it to eyesight, I think that made sense. Like it's just, I mean, you just kind of lose it over time.
Yeah, it just like deteriorates slowly. It's not by like a huge margin either, and it's like you don't lose it all, but it's like it gets weird.
Yeah,
super interesting stuff.
Human brain is weird.
Human brain is weird. It's like it comes up with some wacky ideas.
That it does.
Yeah, like
what did
I had an example and I lost it. Man, I don't have anything anymore. What do we talk about?
Like I just said, the human brain is very weird.
Yeah. So how was your day?
My day?
Yeah. How's your day?
It's been good. I haven't done much except to like work on a mix, but it's a good day.
That's always exciting. Exciting. Yeah. I guess like, is it? May I ask what the mix is for? Or is it like confidential at the moment?
No, yeah, I have it's a URL Fest coming up in a few days. I think it's called Slept On, and there's some cool people on there. Like Water Spirit. I like them a lot. Yeah, it's just gonna be. I like trying new things with every mix that I do, so I'm just doing a bunch of like breakcore and like other stuff like that in it this time, like faster, louder stuff.
All right, that's rad. Well,
yeah, it'll be fun.
I would tell everybody to go watch it, but this is probably going to come out after.
It's a podcast.
It's probably going to come out after this. So
when is this episode going to come out?
Probably in a few weeks. So it's we're just gonna miss it just like a little bit. So
if you didn't see it, then
if you did, like leave a comment, like tell us how it was. Like tell us what you thought.
Awesome.
Fucking. This is like the part of the show where like we just slump.
Mm-hmm.
Like where we're
I'm
just like, oh, we're just, oh,
I'm
yeah.
honestly awful at holding conversations, anyways.
Oh, me
So
too.
yeah,
Dude,
it's so
just
hard.
same. Like, honestly, this
I'm literally an
podcast,
introvert.
it,
Mm-hmm.
likewise, this podcast, like, almost its entire, like, I wouldn't say its purpose, but, like, something that came out of it was that I just got better at talking, which
Mm-hmm.
was, like, because, it's like now that I have to just think about, talking for an hour, which is
Yeah.
something that's, like, I never really had to do. Especially, like, if you're in a group of, like, multiple people, somebody's going to be saying something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you're like, oh, okay,
Yeah, you can just kind
cool.
of ride the conversation.
Yeah, and then whatever. But like being the not just like, but being like having to like talk for an hour and give like different things. You can't talk about like the same
Mm-hmm.
thing for an hour.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
always
it's
been
true.
like, yeah, it's interesting. But I'm getting there. I'm getting better
Mm-hmm.
at it. So that's cool.
Yeah,
At
that's
least I
pretty
hope
dope.
I am. You know. Uh. Okay. I guess there's like there's one thing I've been meaning to ask because
Mm-hmm.
I was very like interested. Like I initially heard, I think I heard of your stuff first. I might have like had it in an earlier instance, but I think my first instance was like the bitbird that the fuck,
Create
what was it
together.
called? Yes, that one. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering like how did that necessarily like come about? Because it seems like a very interesting like idea for a label to
Yeah,
do.
that's actually a pretty interesting thing to talk about, I'd say. So I found, I mean, obviously it all started with the Discord server. I found that server kind of back in like 2017 or 18 or something like that. I was just like on like a song and somebody put like a link to a Discord server in the comments just randomly, and I just didn't. It had no context, so I was like probably expecting it to be something dumb, but I clicked on it just because I thought I would, and to my surprise, there was like a whole fan-made Bitbird Discord server. At the time, it was very small, like maybe like 200 members or something like that, like no
Mm.
more than that. Um, and as time went on, it kind of people started like joining it and stuff, and it kind of started becoming like an official thing. Like we didn't like ask them or tell them about it, but they started putting the link to the server like in their like YouTube bios and like descriptions and stuff like that. So I think with the Create Together compilation, what we had seen, I don't know if you've heard of Forum All Nighter.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah. Like they
those
just put
Yep.
out.
compilations.
Yeah, they just put out like one, like the
Yeah, that's
yesterday.
V6.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All Nighter 6. That's another thing we could talk about after this because that is the amount of people getting like the amount of people supporting that compilation is crazy.
Mm.
But what we had kind of saw that like they do this 24-hour song challenge for charity. Like that's pretty awesome. What if we did something like that with our community? And at least I think that's how it kind of went through. I think that's how when I think back on it, it went. But I don't know if it was the same for like everybody else who was in that server. But yeah, we're like, let's do this. Let's have like a whole month where we kind of just like help everybody go through the phases like of making a song, like writing it, producing it, mixing and mastering. Let's divide it into chunks, and at the end we'll just pick like the coolest songs and put them on a compilation. So we were posting around on like Facebook, the Bitbird Facebook groups, like on Instagram and stuff, just advertising it, so so that people could see like, hey, we're doing this like kind of compilation album for fun. And Thorwald from Bitbird, he saw what we were doing and thought it was really dope, and so we ended up getting in contact with him. And after the compilation was finished and he had showed it to San, they were like, yo, we should just like actually release this. Like it's a really cool like concept. The songs are good. Let's just like put this out. So that's how that kind of happened. It was just we had no intentions of it being like an actual release. Like the label kind of, it wasn't really their idea at first. Like we just kind of were making like a compilation on our own for fun to just try and get better and work with other people on music and stuff. And it ended up becoming an official release, which was pretty dope.
That's
Super
definitely
fun.
like a really interesting thing, and it's like I'm sure like not just yourself, but like everybody involved was more than ecstatic, and it definitely
Oh
like
yeah,
helped. Like I mean,
that yeah.
it definitely helped like a lot of people, I guess. Like I guess boost their numbers isn't like the right word, but it's like it definitely
Mm-hmm.
gave them like more of a presence.
It's a good starting point, yeah, for sure.
Like, yeah, because I don't think I like even if I had like heard of anything of your stuff prior to that, like I didn't
Mm-hmm.
really it didn't really like get cemented into my head until like after that.
Yeah, yeah.
So definitely like a really cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really interesting that they called it a volume one, meaning that there was like potential for there to be even more like
Yeah,
things
the
like
the
this.
volume 2 may be coming around the corner.
Ooh, all right.
So stay tuned, producers. Join the Bitbird server.
Right, rad. Yeah, fucking
Mm-hmm.
everybody go do that. Yeah, I guess then we'll I guess move on to talk about the all nighter, since that was
Mm-hmm.
you participated in this one, right? In volume 6, didn't you? Or
Yeah, I made a
yeah.
song for it. I didn't make it in this time around. The submissions were crazy. There was also I think I heard there's like 530 submissions or something. So
Wow.
I went into this one like not expecting anything at all. I'm like, this is just gonna be for fun. Like, if I get in, that'll be cool. But that's not why I'm gonna do it. Maybe in the past I was like try harding, like I want to be a part of it, so I'm gonna make the best song I can, you know. But I didn't do that this time, and I didn't really make it in, so I'm not really like upset about that or anything. Like the compilation turned out so dope. Like everybody on that compilation is like super talented. Like, ugh.
Yeah, this is definitely like one of the all-nighters that I feel like this is probably like the biggest one so far, cuz
Mhm.
I had like I hadn't like heard, I guess, as much of sorry, the like the
Form.
previous ones. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
I hadn't like heard there wasn't like as much of, I guess, I guess hype for the previous ones, or at least as not
Mhm.
much as I know. Like this one
Yeah,
just
definitely
probably
not.
was the most like because like I knew like a lot of people that were participating in it, and I
Mhm.
was like, how have I never heard of this before? And
Yeah.
like it's definitely getting to like the point where a lot of people are starting to talk about it. I heard
Mhm.
like Bandles, they like they had never heard of it before, and they were like, and then like their Twitch chat was like telling them about it, and they were
Oh,
like,
okay, yeah.
why haven't how haven't we heard about this? Like we would love to like do something like that. That sounds
Yeah.
awesome. It's
Yeah,
like,
for
and
sure.
because it's such a cool concept. It's like, you know, to
Uh,
make a track like that in a day.
yeah,
Um,
it's hard, but it's super fun at the same time. Like, it's definitely difficult. You know, you're staying up super late. You get really tired. You have like if you get in, like the song's gonna be attached to you forever. So like, there's a lot of pressure. But it's
yeah,
like it's still like I don't know how it's so much fun even with all that pressure attached. It's like a blast every time, even if you don't make it in. Like
yeah.
it's super awesome.
There were definitely like a lot of like bigger artists with involved in this one too, which was like
Yeah,
really interesting. Like I
Mr. Bill was on it. That was crazy.
yeah, Mr. Bill. I saw like former hero and Slippy
Mhm.
were two
Yeah,
of the ones that I
Slippy.
like.
That's another one.
Yeah, like that was just it was really cool to see. Um, like I I'm really excited now for like what the next compilation is gonna bring,
No, yeah, for
because it's
real.
like
Like
yeah
if this one exploded so much, like Porter Robinson tweeted about it. You
Yeah,
know,
I heard about
after that
that.
happened, then a bunch of other people started like talking about it. I think Bitbird tweeted about it. There's different like news articles and stuff. They got some press for it. And like man, like if this one blew up so much and now all these people are talking about it, how many submissions are they going to get the next time around? Like this sounds like it's going to be insane.
dude. Yeah, it's like I'm assuming that at some point like all nighter is gonna become like there was the I'm not sure if you heard about, but like Disciple had like a remix competition with like 18 tracks,
Mhm.
and like
I think
apparent
I heard about that.
yeah, and I heard from like Vishal from Vandals, who's like the A&R
Mhm.
at Roundtable. Basically, he's
Yeah.
they had like I think like I think like 13,000 people downloaded the stems, like or
Oh my
14,000 like
gosh.
downloaded the stems, and they got like 8,000 submissions.
That's insane.
It's like I feel like Forum could or All Nighter could definitely become something like that, like just
Really
that
big, yeah.
widespread.
Mhm. Especially cuz everybody knows about Form because of
Yeah.
all-nighters. Like, man.
Yeah, and it's
They're
like
gonna
not
keep
even.
growing. They're gonna keep getting people like participating. Like the songs are gonna get higher quality every time.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
and
pretty cool to see what they do.
yeah, it's like I hope that they still like focus. They still like pull their focus into like to getting a lot of like smaller artists involved as
Hmm.
well as like because it's like eventually if it gets big enough, right? It's like you run the risk of like only being like big artists with like huge production
Yeah,
value, right?
yeah,
But
because then that takes away from like the original magic of it just being like a bunch
yeah,
of
it's like
underground people.
yeah, I feel like though it's like dude, All Nighter doesn't really have that risk too much because in the sense that like it's still like you still have to make a track in 24 hours. Like
Yeah,
regardless of who you are, that's difficult. It doesn't matter like if you're fucking I don't know like just someone with like 10 followers or like fucking I don't know Marshmallow. Like it's still gonna be difficult
yeah,
to make a track in 24 hours.
yeah. No matter who you are, like that is a crazy challenge.
Yeah.
There's so much like stuff that goes into making a song, and
Yeah.
especially if you want to like match the quality that people are like submitting,
Yeah.
like even recently.
Yeah, because like
Oof.
writing music is also it's something that's like it doesn't you're not automatically in the mindset. Sometimes like you're just unlucky and you just like aren't really in the mood to make something that day.
Yeah.
To me, a lot of the time.
Oof, it's so hard.
Or maybe you're
It
just
like
really
forces
lucky.
you. Like,
Yeah. Or
yeah.
maybe you're just really lucky and that day you're just like, "Oh my god, I have everything like in my mind like
Mhm.
perfect. I'm going to go for it." And you just like finish
Yeah.
early.
And then yeah. Man, like I just like can't believe how many people there were. Like even like there was a lot of artists on there, but they like rejected like Rob Gasser, like I think they participated. Like Ica, Cynthion, they all had like a big group collab that like also didn't make it on. Like
Yeah, they were
part of that was like you can't feel bad about not making it on when you know the kind of people who didn't also make it on.
yeah, it's
Like I heard
it's
some of the songs that didn't make it on, and I was just like,
Yeah, in the community
wow.
post. For real. It's insane.
yeah, stuff's crazy. It's like I don't honestly, it's like it just makes you kind of like think about just how talented like some of these people are, because
Mm-hmm.
it's like for at least like I'm hoping this would be something I would show somebody who has like no idea like anything about electronic music and like
Yeah.
this is what like this is like the best of the best of what people can make in like a day, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
like
definitely. It's almost honestly sometimes like those compilations can be discouraging for me because I'm like I don't really see myself as that good at producing. Like I've gotten to the point where I can do whatever I want mostly, but I'm not like out here innovating or anything like that. When I hear the songs that people made in 24 hours on this like compilation, like the sound design, like the uniqueness and originality on some of those songs is like it can be discouraging sometimes. And then I just have to remember like that's okay. Like I mean, nothing's
yeah,
stopping you from doing that. You know, you just have to put in the time.
yeah.
But
Like
those people are
the
so
way I
good.
like to think of it is like there's nothing wrong with doing something that has been done before, especially
Hmm.
because like people think is like, oh, I have to innovate and like I have to do new things, but there's like only
Right.
so many forefronts you can innovate on, and like
Exactly.
you can't like make everything better. Like why not, or like you can't make everything new. So why not like take the
Hmm.
time to take something that already exists and just like improve on it, right? It's
Yeah.
like
Or like take two things that already exist and like blend them together. I feel
yeah,
like that's what I've that's what I've been doing lately. Is I have like my inspiration from like Pokemon soundtracks and stuff like that. I'm like, what if I take this and mix it with like really fast house type stuff? Like
mm, yeah,
I think
like
you can get so many cool like mixtures of genres and
Like
like
genre
sounds.
hybrids. Yeah.
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 Those are the songs I feel like that really stand out from the rest of them and
Yeah, I
like
feel
suck
like
people in. And,
yeah, I feel like there's like you can't I feel like when your musical skill is kind of like building a city. It's like you can't just
mm,
continue like spreading outward and outward. Like you're still it's not really gonna it's gonna be like eventually it's just gonna start being inefficient because you are like I guess a jack of all trades being like you have like all of these skills but you're not like you
yeah.
haven't like pushed a lot of them. Um
Mhm.
but like once you start building vertically is when it's like and connecting like different things, it's like when that's when you
Yeah.
start getting your uniqueness.
Definitely.
because everybody wants to like grow outward. Everybody wants to do that. It's just depending on like how you, I guess, structure everything.
Yeah, you can do whatever you want. There's so many cool like unexplored genres and like mashups of genres and like so much stuff that still hasn't been done yet.
Yeah, and I feel like it's really cool. We got a lot of artists, especially like in the, I guess in the really like younger side of it, that are like I guess they haven't been. I feel like being younger, like I guess more Kismet being an example, you can.
Oh yeah.
You can definitely.
They're insane.
Yeah, I feel like they have like an advantage of being younger because they have they don't have I guess they have like the sense of like childlike wonder, quote unquote, in the sense that
right.
you know, like most like adults, they're like, oh yeah, people don't do this because it's not really possible, and then like you have you know, kids like this being like, hey, we can, like, why not, let's try it, see what happens,
right?
And then you know you get stuff like that.
And Omar is like a huge inspiration to me, not only because of their age but because of like how unique their sound is also, and also their work ethic. I have never like I feel like I have a hard time finishing songs. I don't come up with like tons of ideas. Like I'm generally like once I come up with an idea, I kind of finish it almost every time. But it's taken me like almost a year like to finish like the last 4 songs that I've like made pretty much. Yeah. But somebody like Omar, they have like they'll crank out like I don't know, even Laxity has this, like they just live in FL Studio. They'll just like crank out like 20 songs in a day and then only release some of them. I don't know how people do that. Like it's really inspiring when I hear about like how hard some like producers work, especially like more Kismet.
Yeah, it's
especially when you have such a unique like sound too. Like
it's really so it's cool. Really like amazing like how you can get inspired so much from something that like I guess you're the forefront of, so to speak. You know what I mean? Because it's like you don't really have any like references to go with. It's like because you were the reference.
Yeah.
So you're like now. I guess it's probably also like a little bit stressful to some degree because now like everybody's got their eyes on you for like how to do this particular thing. So I feel like they do a good job dealing with it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it's like honestly, like if I was in that position, like I would be absolutely like I would be like overwhelmed in like, you know, a week.
Oh yeah, I think so. You'd be completely overwhelmed, and to some degree, you almost can't make music when you're having that kind of mindset. Like you can try, but it's gonna suck. So I found for me, like I'm not like, you know, spearheading a genre or something like that, or like innovating and making big waves in the scene, but I think for any musician, like, or any producer, when you're just trying to sit down and make your own stuff, like you just have to not care. You have to go into it like thinking like if I make like I don't know, a bluegrass song today, it'll be fine. You know what I mean? Like if I just do something completely random and unproductive, you still got to be okay with that. And then from that mindset is when you make some of your best, you know, your best tracks, or like accidentally create something amazing.
Yeah. It's more like you just got to get yourself out of the comfort zone.
Definitely.
That's really what like cements it.
Yeah. The comfort zone is a dangerous place to be.
Yeah, it's like sure, it's like, you know, you can make something great, like if you know, it's like stick to, everybody's like, oh, stick to what you know, but it's like sure you can make something good, but eventually you're gonna like run out of like space, and it's like because there's like a lot of like artists that I know that are like bigger, and it's like, or they were at one point bigger, that they just like pretty much every time they crank out a song, it's like almost the same song every time.
Yeah.
And it's like just because like sure it worked and it was like great, but it's like you eventually got to start changing again. You can't do the same thing forever.
Yeah.
Like if you ate your favorite food like every day, eventually you would want something different, even if it is your favorite food. Yeah. It's like fucking everybody asks me, it's like if I eat pizza every day, and I'm like I couldn't do that. Like it would ruin pizza for me. No, because it would like if I did every single day, it would eventually ruin pizza for me. right?
So wait, you're telling me that sometimes it's not pizza time?
It can always be pizza time somewhere, all right? It doesn't always have to be with me, all
It's
right?
pizza
Okay,
time
true.
somewhere.
That's just true. But like, I mean, like an example which is like honestly really like disheartening, like just with
Mm,
food is like fucking my like my dad used to when I was like a kid, he would always order like Fresh Brothers. If you've
mm.
ever like if you know that it's like a pizza place.
Okay.
Fucking and they like have a specific like kind of Chicago style
Yeah.
whatever. And like it was so frequent that at some point I just was not able to eat it anymore. I was like disgusted by
Mm-hmm.
it, and like
Oh
if I
yeah.
even smelled it, I was just like I couldn't do it. It was just the
Yeah.
worst, and it sucks because I still can't. It's like it's permanent now. It's like I
Oh
can't walk into a
no.
Fresh Brothers and I feel like shit immediately just from the smell hitting me. So
Yikes!
it's
It's like
like
ruined.
Sucks.
yeah.
That does suck.
So the point is every like musicians change up your shit like every once in a while. You
Hmm.
don't gotta. It's like
That's the other hard
fucking
part.
yeah.
Sometimes people get mad when you change it up. Like you really can't
Yep.
please everybody.
Yeah, I think it's like you can't let your audience get comfortable either, because it's like
Mm.
if they,
That's a good way to look at it.
because it's like once they get comfortable, that's when you box yourself
Mm.
in, is
Ooh, yep.
is when like you get your audience like comfortable with what you do,
Mm.
because
There
then
are a
it's
lot of
like
artists that are changing like all the time
yeah,
lately.
but it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's fucking it's weird because like like one example that I have is like I guess Stonebank is I feel like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of people are still kind of hung up on his like happy hardcore phase,
Oh yeah.
because he did that like really well for a long time, and then he kind of like
Mm-hmm.
switched it up in the last few years to like something
Yeah.
different, and like I like what he's doing now, but it's gotten to a point where I refer to Stonebank as Stonebank and happy hardcore Stonebank. Like there's two different Stonebanks
Mm.
now. It's not
Yeah.
just
True.
one
Some
anymore.
banks.
Um, which is like really unfortunate. You don't want like that
Mm-hmm.
dependency, I guess,
Yeah.
on for that specific thing.
I think some of that happens, especially when you have an actual like once you kind of get a platform going and like you have lots of people listening to your music. They'll
Yeah.
come for one thing and then they might not stick around. They might not like want to hear your new stuff because you boxed yourself into a certain genre.
Yeah,
So,
It's like different artists have different eras essentially.
yeah,
mm-hmm.
It's like like it's
because
this
it's
era, that era. I mean,
yeah,
Yeah,
Porter Robinson is a perfect example. Like he had the
exactly. Yeah,
Spitfire era, Worlds era, and now Nurture era.
yeah,
Three completely different things.
yeah.
yeah, because it's like you have a thing where I mean, when you end up boxing yourself in with a genre, like with your audience,
Mm-hmm.
you also like probably end up getting sick of that genre because it's like you want to make different things, but your audience won't let you. So
Yeah.
you can't
Oof,
really put
that's
out
rough.
like because I feel like that's what happened with Stonebank. Like honestly, like
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he just got sick of happy hardcore because he doesn't really do it at all anymore. He doesn't like touch it. Like I
Mm-hmm.
haven't heard any happy hardcore Stonebank in a while at least.
Didn't that happen to Tristram too? Like,
I must have like I mean I haven't like
because I feel like I remember people complaining when he started changing things up, and then he was like,
I feel like people
I feel like
complained
I remember,
after Questions came out, like because that was
yeah.
very like
Oh
different
yeah.
Tristram, and then
It's
like
like people
now
complained. It's like we want old Tristram back, and it's like,
it's like
Oof.
so what?
You can still
He's a
listen to it.
person. Yeah, it's still there. It
old
hasn't gone
Tristram is
anywhere.
still there, and there are
Yeah,
other artists that you can discover that do stuff like old Tristram.
I feel like
Yeah.
that's what also gave like everybody who was like super disappointed with the return of Breakin'. Like
Mm.
it was just if you guys remember he came back after, or they came back after like 5 years. Like with a track and everybody was like, "Oh, it's going to be like all of those good ones." And then it
Yeah.
wasn't. I mean it's still good, but it's just like wasn't like their old genre.
Yeah, it wasn't the same thing.
Yeah, so it was like,
Mm.
I mean, also like with Breaking, it's like they had so much on their shoulders because like
Right.
they had, excluding that like last one, they had 4 releases total, and all of them had hit over 10 million streams on like every platform.
literally insane.
That's a lot to live up to.
For real.
It's like, yeah, it's nuts. All right. Well, on that note, I feel like we're reaching the end of our time. We're a little bit over actually, so that's always good.
Cool.
I guess, is there like any final words that you wanna give to anybody out there listening, or just anything you want to touch up on, or?
Not specifically. I don't think. I would say, if you like making music, keep doing it because that's pretty swag of you. And if you like listening to music, keep doing it because that's also pretty swag of you. And then I don't know. Stay tuned, I guess. I'll be releasing some cool stuff this year, and I'm pretty excited about it.
All right. Well, for everybody out there, please go check out SKYGATE. All of his stuff will be in the description somewhere. Yeah, please, you can go ahead and plug everything if you want to, everything specifically.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, people
on
are
Twitter
too.
And Instagram, it's just SKYGATE Beats, and then SoundCloud is SKYGATES, just SKYGATE with an S right after it. So yeah, go follow.
All right, everything will be down in the description. Everything for me and Eswyn will be down there too, and everything for the podcast will be down there. Please check out the rest of our
Pizza Time podcast.
Yeah, you heard it here first, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, please check us out. We're desperate. Yeah, and I guess on that note, we will. We'll see everybody else in the next episode, hopefully. So, yeah.
Peace out.
Later.